Hey! Hi, how you doing? This is Ryan, and welcome back to the Gamertron Show. I believe I can finally safely say that after over 47 hours of playing the game, having played over 130 matches and reaching a player level over 100, alongside getting close to unlocking almost all of the achievements, I think I can safely say I have mostly fully experienced exoprimal, allowing me to give it a far more confident review and a far stronger recommendation. Wait, exoprimal? That new multiplayer game from Capcom about mech suits versus dinosaurs? Yes, that very same exoprimal. Don't worry, have no fears, you haven't been clickbaited, you haven't been misled. We are going to talk about Overwatch, because you see, exoprimal is basically everything I wanted from Overwatch from both a PvE and PvP perspective. And I honestly believe that Overwatch players dissatisfied with Overwatch 2 will greatly enjoy exoprimal, and it may become their new favorite multiplayer game if they give it a shot. Because you see, exoprimal has become one of my favorite multiplayer games of all time. I really mean it when I say I put exoprimal up there with Titanfall 2 as one of my favorite and one of the best multiplayer video games out on the market, and this is coming from someone who personally prefers co-op, PvE, and single-player games over PvP multiplayer. But exoprimal, with its masterful execution of a PvPvE formula, I honestly believe that if you give this game a chance, exoprimal could become one of your new favorite multiplayer games. Now, that's not to say that exoprimal is a perfect game. There is absolutely room for improvement. But nonetheless, exoprimal has become one of my favorite video games of 2023, and it is easily going to be in my top 10 favorite video games of the year 2023. But now, before we can talk more about exoprimal, we need to talk about Overwatch and Overwatch 2. Now, I understand why so many people have a great deal of affection for the Overwatch franchise. However, I think it's fair to say that with the complete removal of Overwatch 1 and with the current state of Overwatch 2, I believe it would be a fair statement to make that Overwatch as a whole isn't in a good place right now, which leaves Overwatch refugees craving for alternatives. But with the exception of Paladins, which is a great free-to-play game that I do recommend, there hasn't really been much on the market. And don't you dare come at me with Valorant. Valorant has more in common with Counter-Strike than it does Overwatch. Enter Capcom, with their very unique and very Japanese take on a team-based hero shooter online multiplayer game, exoprimal. And while exoprimal is a live service video game, I hesitate to even call it a live service video game, given the negative connotations and implications tied to live service video games, because exoprimal, despite being a live service video game, it's surprisingly pro-consumer. Overwatch players, I know y'all ain't too happy about the state of Overwatch 2's monetization and progression systems, how they took away your free loot boxes for leveling up, how stingy Overwatch 2 is with its currencies compared to Overwatch 1, and how trying to unlock new cosmetics for your heroes are basically all tied to purchases, microtransactions, and battle passes. So I think you'll be very pleased to hear that exoprimal has a full-fledged in-game progression system, no extra monetization tied to it. It's a traditional classic progression system where you level up and you unlock new exosuits, you unlock new cosmetics, and you unlock the in-game currency. And once you hit player level 50, every level up afterwards will grant you, well, would you look at that, a free loot box. Yes, exoprimal has loot boxes, but they aren't tied to monetization. You can't buy loot boxes. You can only unlock them by just playing the game and leveling up. Now, exoprimal does feature battle passes, but unlike Overwatch battle passes, they're not essential, and all the cool cosmetics aren't solely tied to them. Here's this awesome skin that I unlocked for my Zephyr exosuit using the in-game currency which I earned through just playing the game. Here's this silly, goofy-ass skin that I unlocked for my Krieger exosuit, which makes him look like a transformer. I got this through a free loot box. Unlike in Overwatch 2 or other shitty live service multiplayer games, Exoprimal's battle passes are not basically essential purchases in order for you to actually have something worthwhile and desirable to unlock and progress towards. They are truly completely optional purchases that just help support the developer, help support development for future content updates, and give you access to a bunch of cool new cosmetics to unlock. Make no mistake, Exoprimal is live service done right, which is why Exoprimal doesn't even feel like a live service, even though it is. So, if you're craving an online multiplayer game with an actually rewarding and fulfilling progression system, Exoprimal has got you covered. However, progression systems, monetization, they don't really mean much in the grand scheme of things when it comes to actually enjoying playing a video game. Because of course, in that regard, gameplay is king. When it comes to Overwatch's gameplay, I certainly can't deny the qualities. I completely understand the fondness people have for the gameplay of Overwatch. Or should I say, used to have for the gameplay of Overwatch. As the current state of the gameplay found in Overwatch 2 has left people pretty divisive. What with the clusterfuck that is hero balancing, the restrictiveness of role queues, and the switch from 6v6 to 5v5. Now, I can't speak for everyone who plays Overwatch, I can only speak for myself, of course. So, for me personally, I was really not a fan and did not like the direction Blizzard took the gameplay of Overwatch. It just got to a point for me where the game was just far more frustrating than fun to play. And with the cancellation of Overwatch 2's planned extensive PvE content, that was the final nail in the coffin for me, and I just have no interest in returning to Overwatch. Now enter, once again, Exoprimal. And this game basically does everything I wanted to see from Overwatch. A diverse variety of playable hero characters, in this case exosuits, that are actually extremely well designed and balanced, while also having all of their kits seamlessly synergize with one another, where both the gameplay mechanics and systems, alongside the in-game objectives, actually encourage and reward teamwork, alongside effectively playing your role as an assault, tank, or support? Top it all off with actually engaging and visually spectacular PvE combat encounters? It's so good! It's all so good! Guys! Exoprimal is so good! And one of the primary factors for that is the playable hero character classes, the exosuits. They all have awesome, distinctive, very detailed, colorful character designs, bursting at the seams with memorable personalities.
I'm big, but I'm light on my feet. This'll help with circulation.
Gosh dang it! I should have crushed it. That was totally not crushing it.
Their signature weapons and various abilities all combo together and off of one another so seamlessly and fluidly. Every exosuit's kit is effective and has the potential to completely change the course of a match. You know what? Screw it. I will go as far as saying that the exosuits in exoprimal are all objectively superior to their counterparts and inspirations found in Overwatch, in terms of their character class designs. For example, Deadeye is a far more interesting and effective take on the typical shooter-soldier archetype in comparison to Soldier 76. Roadblock is essentially the perfect tank and makes Reinhardt look boring as hell by comparison. Oh, and whereas in the Overwatch community, the most well-established support healer characters, Mercy and Lucio, are a constant topic of debate and draw the ire of many, meanwhile their counterparts in Exoprimal, Skywave and Witch Doctor, everyone loves them. Any and every Exoprimal player will tell you that they appreciate always having a Witch Doctor or Skywave on their team. You see, I would argue that what makes the exosuits of Exoprimal so much more fun and satisfying compared to the heroes of Overwatch is that your contributions to the match when fulfilling your team role as an assault, tank, or support player actually matter in multiple ways. When you are effectively fulfilling your role and contributing to the team, not only can you easily see it and identify it, but the game actively tells you and rewards you for it. For example, when playing as Deadeye, when you launch a grenade into an incoming group of raptors, you're not just killing a bunch of enemies in a cool and flashy way, but you're also contributing to your objective, protecting your teammates from incoming damage, and providing your team with more space, room, and flexibility to continue fulfilling their roles. And so, the game lets you know you're doing a good job by rewarding you with a bunch of medals and adding more points to your total match score, which in turn contributes to your total XP reward at the end of a match. Compare all of that to simply firing some Helix rockets at incoming enemies as Soldier 76. I don't know about you, but I think there's a clear winner here as to which one is more engaging and more well designed. Now this example, it can be applied to all the exosuits in Exoprimal. If you're playing as an assault exosuit, if you're dealing damage and killing enemies, you and your team will see it, feel it, you will be notified that you're doing your job well and will be tangibly rewarded for it. If you're playing as a tank and doing your job, blocking damage and taking aggro, you and your team will see it, feel it. The game will notify you you're doing a good job and you will be tangibly rewarded for it. If you're playing as a support and you are consistently healing your teammates, it's basically free affection from your teammates and free guaranteed buttloads of XP. You keep your teammates alive, they kill all the dinosaurs in the enemy team, and you reap the rewards. Ah yes, something else I should add. Whereas in Overwatch, losing a match is demoralizing. It feels awful. Going up against an enemy team that just has better players than your team and getting steamrolled. It sucks. It's no fun at all. You feel like you've wasted your time. However, when it comes to Exoprimal, because of its PvPvE design, it's completely impossible for one team to steamroll the other, as the first half of a match is always exclusively PvE. It's only the second half of a match, the final mission, where PvP is even a possibility. So both teams, before they even start officially butting heads with one another, they both get to have some fun killing dinosaurs, while getting to know their team, seeing their exosuit choices, the team composition, and how skilled each other are as players. But in the end, whether or not you win or lose the match, everyone is still rewarded. Sure, if you win the match, you get some bonus XP, but regardless of winning or losing, you are always working towards your own personal goals, effectively playing as your chosen exosuits, fulfilling your team roles, and in return being rewarded with medals, awards, and of course XP, but not just for your own personal player account and progression, leveling up your exosuits as well, unlocking mods that allow you to customize their playstyle. Leveling up your exosuits also levels up your mastery of them, showcasing your dedication and love for your favorite exosuits. So even when you lose a match of Exoprimal, you're still winning in a way. You're still making progress. And it doesn't demotivate you from wanting to play more, craving that just one more match. Another benefit of the PvPvE design is that the presence of one really good player in a multiplayer match doesn't ruin the match for everybody else in the game. You all know what I'm talking about. You have that player that's an expert, a master, an esports legend, if you would, at the game. If you're on the enemy team, they're tearing you to shreds and you barely get a chance to even play the game because you're mostly just watching the respawn screen. And if they're on your team, sure, you get the easy win, but not having any opportunity to help contribute to the team and achieve that win, it can be just as unsatisfying as losing. Luckily, in exoprimal, that is not a factor. It is impossible for that to happen. You cannot one-man army this shit. Sure, every exosuit is powerful and can make you feel like a badass and have the potential for crazy plays. But if you try to lone wolf a match, leave your team and the enemy team in the dust, the dinosaurs will humble your ass very quickly. Oh, you want to 1v1 a T-Rex? The T-Rex will be like, bet. You see, as a pleasant surprise, Capcom, when designing the dinosaurs for exoprimal, took inspiration from Left 4 Dead, in terms of how Left 4 Dead designed its enemies, the zombies, the special infected, and how each enemy has to play a role in not only dynamically engaging the player in combat, but encouraging them to be cooperative with their teammates and contribute to the team. Look, I'm well aware that just looking at exoprimal on a surface level, it looks like a dumb, fun, casual, silly game about mech suits versus dinosaurs. But I assure you, it is so much more than that. This game has depth. It is meticulously designed. It can be played, enjoyed, and experienced as both a casual gamer or hardcore gamer. For me personally, a multiplayer game needs to do something truly special and captivating to make me not only want to play it, but truly have fun playing it, as someone who personally prefers single-player and PvE co-op games. But when it comes to exoprimal, there is truly a one-of-a-kind unique thrill in competing against an enemy team to complete objectives and kill more dinosaurs faster. However, as good as the PvPvE experience is in exoprimal, and I do highly recommend it for that PvPvE gameplay, when exoprimal fully embraces its PvE side, it becomes a truly spectacular co-op player versus AI experience. If you were unaware, exoprimal features 10-player raids. That's right, 10 players working together to either survive an overwhelming horde of hundreds of dinosaurs at a time or one giant super powerful boss battle. These are so much goddamn fun, they're a visual spectacle, and this is where the best team players get their hero moments. Their moments to shine, effectively utilizing their favorite exosuits. I honestly do believe that every self-respecting gamer who loves action games, sci-fi games, co-op games, multiplayer games, needs to experience the 10-player raids of exoprimal. Especially the final boss. Holy shit, the final boss. It competes with Destiny's raid bosses in terms of quality design and spectacle. Oh, it's so good. It's just so good. But alas, while I have been praising exoprimal throughout this video, like I said at the beginning of this video, it's not a perfect game. It's a great game, you should absolutely play it, but it does have its issues. Issues that Capcom needs to address ASAP. So get this. Exoprimal has fully functional and genuinely competent AI bots. You'll encounter them in the initial tutorial for the game, and you'll also encounter them in matches. When a player drops out of a game mid-match, they'll be replaced by a bot, and the bots are genuinely really good. They're competent. It's like playing with an actual player. And yet, exoprimal doesn't have an offline mode where you can just play with and against bots. It doesn't have private matches or custom matches where you could play by yourself or with friends in matches with or against bots. Capcom, why in the world did you think it was a good idea to make a multiplayer game with only free playlists and free modes? Dino Survival, which is a mix of PvE, PvP, the 10-player raids, the Savage Gauntlet, a weekly rotating mode featuring challenging endgame PvE content for up to 5 players, and the training mode. Now, these playlists and modes are fine by themselves, but the fact that it's just these modes and playlists, and nothing else, there's no customizability, no flexibility, and most damning of all, no means of preservation or playability in an offline state. Capcom, we desperately need more options, more game modes, more playlists, custom matches, private matches, offline play. You made and implemented these really, genuinely, really great multiplayer bots for exoprimal. Let the community, let the players utilize them. You have this excellent 10-player raid content, which everyone who's played exoprimal loves. But the 10-player raids don't have their own playlist? Why not let that be an unlockable PvE playlist once you complete the story alongside the Savage Gauntlet? And speaking of the Savage Gauntlet, Capcom, why in the hell is this mode only available on the weekends? And why is it only a single scenario? The exoprimal community unanimously loves the Savage Gauntlet. They love this challenging endgame PvE content. So why are you holding it back from us and limiting it? Just make it a permanent playlist and enable all the available scenarios. Look, I fully understand Capcom's intentions here, but I would argue a game is almost always better when the player is given more freedom and control in how they want to experience the game. And that's what I would argue is the biggest issue with exoprimal, because everything else about the game is truly fantastic. From the graphics, to the music, to the gameplay. Hell, even the story, which I fully admit, I didn't like at first. It eventually grew on me, and I eventually saw and appreciated all the hard work put into it. It's still silly as hell, but it's silly with clear passion and effort behind it. So again, exoprimal is fantastic, highly recommend it, but Capcom, Jesus Christ, we need more player options and freedom, we need more playlists, custom matches, private matches, offline play. You do all that, and well, goddamn, exoprimal, I would argue, would become an absolute must-own instant classic, right up there with a legendary beloved game like Deep Rock Galactic as one of the best co-op video game experiences out there. But in the meantime, we can settle for exoprimal being one of the best PvP multiplayer video games on the market, and one I would argue to be a clear successor to Overwatch. So, to all you Overwatch players out there, dissatisfied with the state of Overwatch 2, and looking for a new multiplayer team-based hero shooter to fill that Overwatch-sized hole in your heart, I truly believe that exoprimal can provide, and then some. Also, if you're on PC or Xbox, exoprimal is available on Game Pass, and exoprimal is actually one of the most successful games on Game Pass. It's got a surprisingly very healthy and thriving Game Pass community. So yeah, if you got Game Pass, there's nothing stopping you from checking out exoprimal right now. Game even has crossplay to boot. Anyways, that's been my video on exoprimal. I hope you liked the video. If you did indeed like it in any way, shape, or form, please be sure to hit the like button and leave a comment in the comment section down below. If you want to help out and support this video, then please share it on social media, Twitter, Reddit, Facebook, and maybe some Discord servers. If you want to help out and support me directly and help me keep doing what I'm doing here on YouTube, keep making these kinds of videos, please consider making a donation via the Super Thanks feature here on YouTube, or by clicking on the links and donating via my Ko-Fi or Buy Me a Coffee pages, links in the description down below. Anyways, once again, that's been a video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later. Have a super day, as Leviathan would say.